Hello and welcome back to episode 9. We are almost at the end of this season. One more episode to go after this before we reach that final episode of 2024, or 2025 actually, I guess. And after that, we'll finally be able to play with our new squad, which is exciting. But first, we have this episode to go as well, which features a lot of races, and we've been relatively successful in the past couple of episodes, or basically throughout this season. We've been getting a lot of decent results, a lot of 1 and 2s, a lot of points, and we want to try and keep that up in this episode as well. The more points, the better we do, the better, or the more money we get. Starting off with the Tour of Zegerland, a time trial in the first stage, which is always problematic. Other than that, we have 2 flat stages and a mountain stage, or a little bit of a hilly stage. So yeah, it's important for our sprinters to do well in stage 2 and 4, and for our sprinters basically to survive in the third one. It is an uphill sprint. We keep surprising with Heo in those sprints, so I'm hoping that he will do well there. Next up, we have the Kupa Max Ausnit. I think it is a Romanian tour? A little one-day stage tour, which supposedly is flat, but it looks quite hilly. Our sprinters will have to do their best here, but again, we are nearing the final stretch of the season, so our riders are tired. Let's see what else they have left in their legs. Next up, the Classique of Mauritius, a very hilly stage that is up and down and up and down and up and down again. Not the stage for our sprinters, I'm assuming. It has a downhill sprint, but I think to reach towards the end, they'll really need to do their best, which will be quite difficult. And last, but certainly not least, we have the Capodolcini, which is a Bulgarian race, I think. I'm sorry, I don't know what the flag is. But 2 flat stages, and that should feature our team quite well, or that should fit our team quite well. So I'm hoping that they will do all right here. Let's immediately go into the first stage of the Tour of Zegerland, which is our time trial, and you know how notoriously bad we are at time trials. So I wish I could tell you a lot about how well this stage went and how immediately, incredibly, I've driven this time trial, which is 5 kilometers, which is slightly hilly, you know, which is definitely our speciality of our team. But we did terribly. We did absolutely terribly, and I'll show you the results right here. As you can see, I have to scroll down quite a bit. Kim Yoon-suk in 32nd place, which honestly, compared to how we did before, not even the worst result. We've done way worse before. So 32nd for Kim Yoon-suk, we're second to last in the team classification. Yeah, time trials, another thing. Let's quickly go to the second stage of this tour, which is a flat stage, and is generally a lot better for our team. We have a little hill in the middle that we need to survive, but other than that, it's pretty flat.
And welcome. Today's terrain is fairly level, so it's ideal ground for those who are good on the flat. Riding under such heat must be unbearable.
Unbearable, except for our riders, which are from South Korea, which it can actually be quite warm there. Anyway, 2 in-between sprint points as well. You see Yon here in the lovely team or national jersey that we have, and I'm sending out Heo. As you know, in between sprint points means in between sprint seconds, and if I want to move up with Heo in this general classification, then I think it's a good way to do so by getting some seconds here as well. So we get in the breakaway, and yeah, kind of just right away. In the meantime, I'll make sure that Kim Hyun-suk is basically protected in the middle of the peloton, and just protecting our other sprinter Lee as well. Protecting Shin as well, our little mountain rider here, to make sure that he is safe for the upcoming mountain. 1 kilometer to go before the first in-between sprint point. I do a hefty sprint with Heo, and he shows how strong he is here in the sprint, confidently, even with a 16-second gap, beating the other riders here towards his first sprint point. 3.3 seconds here on the board for us. Good start of the second stage here that we're doing. On to the second in-between sprint point. I will try and do the same thing again. We have a 2-minute lead on the peloton, so hoping that we can live a little bit longer. And yeah, 1 kilometer to go. Sprint with Heo again, and he is definitely the strongest sprinter here of this bunch, easily getting to the line as first. So getting an additional 3 seconds and an additional 3 sprint points here for us in this tour. Towards the mountain, you see there was a little tiny hill. Time for Shin to perform and show what he's got. So I'm sending him forward. You know, he is our mountain rider here today, as it's Lee and Shin, or sorry, Yu and Shin, the two hill riders, as I would say, not even mountains, hill riders of our team. Yu obviously isn't here in this tour today, so Shin will have to take the mountain duties upon him. I'm setting him away up front, making sure that he leads the pack, making sure other riders suffer a bit, including our team. But yeah, gets across the line here as first, getting 6 mountain points in the best climber classification. And that should be it for him for the rest of this this race. On to the last 10 kilometers that we have here. We have our sprint train going. Shin, I wanted to say last bit of his race, but he does the first little lead out here for our team. You know, making sure that we are well positioned here to the front. He is not much of a sprinter. As you can see, he doesn't even have 60 sprint stats. Much better in the hills. But yeah, good enough at least to set our team off at about 7 kilometers to go. A little bit of an incline and downwards part here in this last little bit of the stage. But I feel like it would suit us as riders quite well. We do like the flat sprints, and even if it's slightly uphill, Heyo does generally quite well. Yo, on the other hand, apparently deciding to not do quite well and drop back slightly too much there for my thing. I don't know exactly what happened there. I probably pressed the wrong button. 3 kilometers to go. We're in the final stretch. It's time for our riders to ride, and Yon sadly loses Lee's wheel. The sprint train getting interrupted here at the final part. 2 kilometers to go. I really have to sprint here with everyone that I have left, but we are positioned quite poorly. Can we get past the other riders? Kim Yeon-suk being quite blocked. Heyo doing quite well. Ooh, no first placer. Can he get it? Second? No. Barely a third here for Heyo. I was hoping to do a bit better here with Kim Yeon-suk, but his positioning just wasn't great. Yeon lost the wheel towards the end, making sure that we dropped a bit too far backwards. Heyo was able to lift on the wheel of the winner all the way up to the front, getting across the line here as third. Sadly, just getting beaten out here by, I think that was the Argentinian flag. And Kim Yeon-suk here getting across the line, I think at around 8th place. So top 10 there for us. The rest of our riders now around 60th place. As you can see, we still have a lot of places left to gain in this tour, but it's a good start here for our riders. Getting a good initial grip here. Now second, moved basically all the way up in this classification. Second now in the team classification. And you see here our best placed rider is Kim Yeon-suk, now in 30th place. So yeah, just need to make sure that we keep this up. Third stage here of the Tour of Zekerland. A very hilly stage. So maybe not the best for our sprinters, but if we get across towards the end there, it should work well for us.
It's an undulating route, so it will be a tactical race.
So yeah, I don't know, an undulating race, whatever that is from the commentator there. Again, a very mountainous, very hilly race here. And there will be attacks straight from the start, so I'm going to send our mountain or our hill rider basically up front to see if he can get into the breakaway and try to get some mountain points here from these other riders. We just need to make sure that with Heyo and Kim Yeon-suk we survive to the end. There is a little bit of an uphill area, but Heyo has proven, and Kim Yeon-suk as well to be fair, proven that they do quite well in uphill sprints, even though that is not really their terrain. So yeah, just need to make sure that they get there as fit as possible. You see me positioning them relatively up front to make sure that they are protected for any breaks in the peloton. You know, maybe during any of these mountain areas that we have, the peloton can break, and I don't want my sprinters to be somewhere in the back at that point. Approaching the first little mountain area, you see that all of the riders, or all of our riders at least, are in the bunch. 71 total in the peloton. I'm sending Yon forward to try and push a little bit to try and catch them back, but you know, there's not much of a chance here for Yon to really do anything. Even though Shin looked good to be in the breakaway at first, he's now suffering in this peloton. He tried to be away, but it didn't really work out. We finally catch up with the peloton on this second mountain, so they stayed away for quite a while. We are pushing again because I want Shin to go up front. We have Yon in the Korean national jersey that is now part of our team, which is incredible. Fighting here with the rest of the peloton, basically trying to overtake this leader right here, and he does so quite easily. Still 2 kilometers to go before the mountaintop, and I think if I send Shin here up front, we should actually be able to achieve, or should actually be able to easily take over these little mountain points here. So Yon very easily steps off the lead of this group here. Shin jumps away, immediately gets a 30-second lead, so no rush here for him. And now he can relax basically in this downhill. And yeah, basically go towards the sprint point, which is quite close after. He actually has a minute lead, so I keep sending him away, which means that he actually hits this in-between sprint stage first. Joined by another rider, but you know, Shin, the better rider of the two, makes it across the line here as first. He is absolutely exhausted though, so in the next little area he will be absolutely useless. He really needs to recover some energy, and I send him back to the group. I'll let that rider up front go. There's no point here for us to obtain the other mountain points. We have the most important goal here in this initial one, and yeah, we can just kind of, you know, let it go. As you can see though, before we even reach the next mountain point, the peloton is entirely together. So the rider basically pushed away and exerted a lot of effort, and you know, it wasn't very good for him. On the other hand, Shin also absolutely exhausted here in this ride up this hill. So yeah, we still, even if we didn't really care and we hoped for some additional points here, maybe with Shin, it will definitely not happen. Shin is just absolutely exhausted here, so there's no chance for him to even come back. He's going to take a big tumble in the general classification here. He's already 1 minute behind in 62nd place, so there's no chance for him to do much more. We still have a sprint point coming up though, which is right now. As you can see, 1 kilometer to go. I tried to sprint with Kim, but he was so far in the back, I really did not position him properly at all. So, whoops. Now basically to survive again up front here in this nice little, or in the little hill that is coming up. I think Yon even got across the line there a second, which is good for him. But now basically just to survive here in this little hill that is coming up, and then, you know, get ready for the sprint stage that is going. Shin somehow managed to get back to the peloton. I have no idea how. He basically, I think the peloton kind of just stopped with riding after the second sprint point, or after the last sprint point. So he managed to even get back, and I pushed him up front, but sadly the other teams or the other riders had just a bit too much energy left. And yeah, no chance for him to get across there. Still leading the best climbers classification though, so we'll at least hold on to that jersey for now. Let's see what we can do here in this final 10 kilometers, well 11 kilometers I should say, where you see me making sure that we have our mountain, or our sprint train, together with our mountain leader Shin up front, making sure that we get pushed forward. It is a slight bit downhill, so he is able to recover some energy in the meantime. Yeah, basically we need to make sure that we are up front here, well positioned, make sure that we don't lose any of the wheels here that we might have, or kind of did the last episode, or the last race I should say. And yeah, just focus on this last effort that we're doing. We still have our entire team here to ride, so we just need to make sure that we are in the bunch. 6 kilometers to go. Now it's time to actually activate Shin and make sure that he can waste all of his energy as much as possible. So we can actually sprint with our remaining riders where possible. With this little hill up, I try to make sure that we have as many riders as possible left. So if we do have a hill upwards towards the end, at least our riders will be will have each other to cover. You see here, I am doing my best here with our riders. It's starting to go uphill now, and now it's also time for our riders to basically do whatever they can. They are blocking a lot of the road. All the other riders are finally joining in. I do decide to sprint with everyone, but it is a bit early. This is the area where I thought, oh, if only we are together with a large group, then we can protect each other. And, you know, I sprint way too early. I mess up that plan. Heyo still gets across the line, the earliest of our team, getting a top 10 position here, a 9th place for Heyo. But this isn't really what I expected earlier with our riders. This isn't really the goal that I had for them. So a 9th place here for Heyo, moving Kim Yeon-sok actually moving up all the way to 12th. or sorry, to 18th, my apologies, moving up 12 places here. So pretty good here by Kim Hyun-suk. The rest of our team also moving up. I guess a lot of riders had some issues with the with this mountain area. Kim Hyun-suk now for a top 20 position, and with one stage left to go, again quite a mountainous or quite another hilly stage where Shin will try to prove that he can keep the mountain jersey. Kim Hyun-suk in a top 20 position. Let's try to get him towards a top 10. Another flat ending here, so if Kim Hyun-suk and Heo get across or get towards the line properly, then we should be fine.
It's going to be a monotonous day when it comes to the terrain, but at least the teams with sprinters won't be complaining, and of course, those opportunists with a bit of daring won't make their life easy.
So yeah, basically we need to make sure that we get across these hills. I'm sending out Shin immediately because there are mountain points up for grabs quite quickly within this race. And yeah, if our sprinters survive this hilly terrain, they can hopefully, fingers crossed, do a proper sprint towards the end, maybe get some additional bonus seconds, and we'll just have to see what happens with them. Maybe even move up. I'm hoping obviously that they move up spaces and we can gain in some additional points. Or maybe even win a stage. That'd be amazing, but our hopes aren't that high. Heo sadly with a -1, Kim Hyun-suk with a 0, so not a benefit here. He's feeling alright. And yeah, basically the focus on Shin for now. Make sure we maintain the mountain jersey for the next couple of mountains. And after that, focus towards our sprinters. That will be the primary objective here. So yeah, 1.8 kilometers to go here before this first little mountain area. Shin is quite tired. The peloton has been pushing behind us. There is another group. You see them joining us now. And I tried to sprint here in this last little bit to make sure that Shin gets across the line here as first, but he gets across the line as second. This, I think Colombian rider could cause some troubles for us. Yeah, gets across the line here as second. He was exhausted. This Colombian rider seems very, very strong this time. Onto the sprint section where Shin, again, against this... I'm assuming, sorry, the screen is relatively small. I think he is Colombian. He could also be something else, but I just cannot see it from here. Yeah, the rider also getting first here. So Shin, even with his lovely sprint here, gets defeated by Bolin. Whatever his name is. Damn. Another second place here for Shin. Now it's just time to make sure that we regain our energy another kilometer before the next one. Can we defeat Bolin this time? I tried to sprint away early. I tried to make a gap, hopefully exhausting the riders behind us. But it's just a bit too early here for Shin to really do anything. Not really what I expected from him. I expected him to have a little bit more gas in the tank and yeah, get across the line here properly. We do, however, now have a 10-minute lead on the peloton. So that actually might turn out to be interesting if we can keep this up 1 kilometer before the sprint point. We keep getting defeated by Bolin, and here as well we get blocked here by this rider, Diachonescu, or however you pronounce it. Blocks us fully, making sure that Bolin here can very easily get across the line here as first. We keep getting beaten by this Colombian rider. He seems to be just the better rider of the two of us here. The rest of the riders we can beat, but this rider is just incredibly strong at this moment. Time for another mountain peak here. You see Bolin already trying to sprint away. I tried to match him here with Shin. Can we get across the line a second? No, we cannot do that either. Oh boy, Shin. That rider is closing up on you in this mountain classification. We need to make sure that we keep him behind us in this stage to keep that mountain jersey. But there's 2 mountain areas still left. 18 minutes on the clock. An 18-minute gap towards the peloton here in this in-between sprint. Another in-between sprint where Bolin will defeat us as it sees. So he will take a lot of bonus seconds here as well and a lot of bonus points. Hopefully this will not matter too much. I don't know his current position in the peloton. Maybe I can tire him out again in this next area, but nope. I definitely cannot Bullen now 5 mountain points behind us, and I want to keep this group going. We have an 18.5-minute lead on the peloton. We will definitely make it towards the finish with this group, and that means that Shin can at least get a top 5 position, which would be incredible. Again, Bullen jumping away really well, actually surprising Shin here. The rest of the group struggling enormously, and Bullen actually gets 21 points. If only we got across the line here as second, we would have maintained our mountain jersey, but no, I messed it up. The Colombian rider here getting all the mountain jersey points and just beating us. Just absolutely destroying us. 5 kilometers towards the finish now. We have a 13-minute lead on the peloton, so we will definitely get across this line here with a top 5, or top 4 even, as you see. The other rider is 10 seconds behind, trying to cross and come up, but he must have wasted so much energy. And I just need to make sure that I follow Bullen here. He will sprint ahead now. I am worried about him. He seems to be the better sprinter. I tried to sprint from the wheel. Shin, where are your sprint stats? They do not exist. Shin, very sadly, while I set up my sprint train, gets across the line here as 4th. And now I just need to make sure that the rest of our riders get into a good position. They are 10 kilometers ahead in a panic. You see me already popping all of the energy gels. I have no clue where we are at this moment. And I just need to make sure that Jon basically gets to the front and sets up our sprint train properly. We have a rider across the line as 4th. I don't think that's enough to win the general classification. Bullen probably, with the amount of bonus seconds that he took, will most likely win it. But maybe we can jump up really a lot of positions. Who knows? Our mountain rider doing a Yusarang move, maybe even winning general classification with being in the breakaway. Let's see if we can actually get a decent position here with our other riders. 4 kilometers to go. I'm really pushing forward, really giving it his all. I know that there is a corner coming up, so I need to be up front with our riders here in this last 3 kilometers. Jon up front now, pushing his way, but he is also getting blocked here by this group. Heyo, ready to sprint, kind of lost the wheel of Jon, sadly. 1 kilometer to go. I try and sprint with everyone that I have left. Can Kim and Heyo pass another couple of riders? No, they cannot. They're stuck beneath or behind some others. They cannot really get any energy out of them to move on. Kim Hyun-suk finishing across the line as 12th. Heyo as 16th. Let's move up to general classification. Shin, second in the general classification. 46 seconds behind Bullen. This rider, incredible job by him. Moving basically up from 48th position all the way up to 1st. To be fair, we did incredibly as well. From like 58th position to 56. Or from 58th position to 2nd. This is incredible for us. In the end, getting a 2nd place here in the Tour of Cycling from a possible top 10 to a 2nd place is an incredibly good result here for us. So, very well done. Shin sadly losing out here on this mountain jersey. Apparently losing out here in the Young Riders classification. Maybe I should sign him for next year. He doesn't even have a contract. This sprinter here, 21 years old, doing an incredible job here for this general classification for his team. We do win the team classification here in the end, but a 2nd place here for Shin. Amazing result here. On to the day stage range of the Kupa Max Ausnit. A flat stage according to this profile, but it does seem quite hilly. So, if there was a chance to challenge this, I would do that.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. The profile of this race is quite flat. Expect a fast pace from the peloton. The weather conditions are excellent.
Even the commentator saying, hey, this is flat. And I fully disagree with that. This is not a flat race. This is a very hilly race. And yeah, this will be difficult for our sprinters to get towards the end. Kim Hyun-suk sadly starting with a -1. Heyo with a +1. So that looks good. But we'll have to see if that actually stays like that towards the end after surviving all these little hills that are going to happen. I'm going to stay in the peloton with Heyo and Kim Hyun-suk, make sure that they are protected and safe. If there is a split in the peloton, which looks like it's basically happening right now, which is worrisome, they are protected. The peloton finally relaxing a little bit. And yeah, our riders, the breakaway is basically 1 minute ahead, so I just have to pace and hurry up, which I'm sure we will do here with Hong. 9 kilometers left to go. You see our sprinting going. Our riders are exhausted. The hills and everything made such a big impact, and there's still a rider 1 minute away, so I think he might actually make it here towards the end. Even with Hong pushing, I don't think there will be much of a chance for us to actually catch up to him with 1 minute left to go. Anyway, 6 kilometers left, 1 minute and 15 seconds. We are gaining up on the rider in front, but this will be such a painful bunch for us to survive these last 5 kilometers. I'm pretty confident that he will make it across the line here with 1 minute to go. 3 kilometers left for the front rider instead of us, which I didn't really expect. I should have probably paid a little bit more attention to that. I have Hung up front for forever already. 2 kilometers left here for this rider over here. I decide to start the sprint with Lee. You see the rider there up front. You see the 1 kilometer sign as well. Time for Kim to sprint. Can we launch Heo? We can. Ooh, actually a really good launch here from Heo. We do not get a first place because of the breakaway rider getting first, but Heo with an amazing launch here, getting across the line as second. Kim Hyun-suk as 6th, and even an 11th place by Yumin Lee. An incredible job here by Heo. 2nd place here in this race, in the Kupa Max Ausnit, a race that was quite hilly, that I didn't expect to do very well in, even though it was classified as flat. Yeah, very, very well done here by Heo. Even though he was exhausted, I guess the other sprinters were exhausted as well, and he just did an incredible launch here towards the finish line and got a 2nd place here. Well done, Heo. On to the next day stage race. We are having a bunch of them today. On to the Classique de Mauritius. My bad.
A fairly mixed bag, so everybody should find a section to their pleasing.
A very mixed bag indeed, with ups and downs, as I said in the introduction. It is a very difficult race here for our riders. We need to protect Yu Sarang and Heo. Heo, obviously our best sprinter here towards the end, if he can survive these little mountains. And Yu, in my opinion at least, the best climber that we have. So those are the riders we will need to protect. Munshin starting with a -3 today. He will have a very difficult time during this race. And as you can see here, 10 kilometers before the front, the peloton has splintered massively. We try to be up front as possible, but we apparently weren't positioned properly enough. Heo not in a position to be part of the front group when it did splinter, so we are playing catch up. Jung and Yu are basically our riders to try and catch up to the riders up front. There are just so many different types of gaps with groups in front of us. We do manage to end up catch up to some of them, but you see here, even Yu with this little hill that is coming up is just suffering. We have 6 kilometers left to go. I really need to give it my all if I want to get a top 10 position here. The rest of the group is doing the same. You see the group here up front is suffering as well. The riders in there are even like breaking out and trying to just survive towards the end in this incredibly difficult stage here. In this incredibly difficult day stage here. Heo even losing the wheel of Yu, really trying to stick onto it, but he's having such a difficult time. 3 kilometers left to go. Yu is totally out of energy. He did his best. I need to send Heo forward in basically a 2.5 kilometer long sprint to make sure that we get a decent position here. There is still a group of 7 to the front of us. I'm just trying to stick along here with this group of 9, but they are slowly but surely riding away in this downhill section. So not super great here. And yeah, little final sprint here. I did kind of not see that there was a sprint already here. But Heo in the end missing out on a top 10 position, getting a 12th. Yu getting across the line here as a 13th, and now we just need to make sure that our riders get across the line here after this exhausting race. A 12th and a 13th position here in this hilly race. Incredible job here by the Terengganu cycling team. Oh, also this rider with a 3.5 evaluation, no contract next time, so maybe I should sign him as well. We do need a hilly rider we do need riders that are good in the hills. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see who we will sign. Again, one more episode to go after this, and then we are able to play in our new team, or with our new team, so that's going to be exciting. On to the Cappuccini, in the footsteps of the Romans, in this first little flat stage, 2 flat stages coming up. Kim Hyun-suk, our sprinter of this tour.
The profile of this race is quite flat. Expect a fast pace from the peloton. The race will take place in beautiful weather conditions.
Some good conditions here for our team, which will be enjoyed by Kim Hyun-suk, I'm sure. I don't think it'll be worth it to send him away in this first section, so I'll probably just keep him within the peloton. Make sure that if he wants to race away towards the end, he will be safe to do so. And yeah, basically just, you know, stick him up front here in this peloton. Make sure that he's safe for any breaks within the peloton as well. I can attack with Yeon, though, are obviously the best sprinter within Korea, because, you know, he won the national championships. Cough, cough. Making sure that if he wants to do something, he could maybe do something here in these in-between mountain points, maybe get some additional results. He only has 2 results so far this year in the national championships, and I think the Visit South Asian Islands. Those are the 2 races that he's won. Other than that, I don't think he scored even any points. So, you know, Yeon, basically a 2-hit wonder, doing incredible here in this jersey. In before this first sprint here, 1 kilometer to go, we are here with the Macedonian rider. I tried to outsprint him, but I'm not even going to pronounce his name. The Macedonian rider here, fantastic job getting across the line here as first, getting his 3 seconds. Beating our #1 sprinter of Korea, cough cough again. I'm not sure if that's exactly true, but, you know, I'd like to pretend that it is in that sense, with Yeon winning. I get surprised here again on this mountain area, but we seem to be the better mountain rider, albeit barely here in this uphill sprint, and we do manage to beat the Macedonian rider here in this mountain area, making sure that we get the first 3 points and we get the first climber's jersey. So congrats to us. Now on to the next sprint point. Again, I want to get as many seconds and points as possible with Yeon. Maybe that he gets a good position here in the general classification. I would like to get him some more points here towards this end, towards the end. I think that'd be quite great for him. But we do get caught here in this breakaway, or in this last part of the sections, just before the 3rd sprint point. I sent out Yeon again. Maybe not the best move, and maybe I should have done Kim Hyun-suk so he can, you know, gain some additional seconds there. But hey, you know, let's actually do something with Yeon and try to get him a good position here in the general classification. That's kind of the goal. In the meantime, 8 kilometers before, you see the peloton has a small split. I am confident that we'll catch up to this small split, however, so I'm not going to waste too much energy. In the meantime, you see Kim Hyun-suk here up front. If we do, for some reason, not catch up, which I think would be miraculous, but, you know, let's see. You never know. At least Kim Hyun-suk is in a position to sprint, so we'll see how that works out. We still kind of need to move upwards with our sprint train. You see me positioning Kim Hyun-suk here now in the wheel of another rider, hoping that he will make it. Our sprint train finally manages to get past here, and 2 kilometers left to go. It is time to actually boost upwards. They lost a lot of energy basically sprinting past many of these other riders. 1 kilometer to go. Time for Kim to move out of the wheel, but he gets blocked by Yo. Oh no! This is... Oh, he was in such a good position, but Yo sadly blocked Kim Hyun-suk. What a failure for us. He was in such a good position, gets across the line here as 11th. Sadly, no top 10 position here for Kim Hyun-suk. I really expected him to do well here, but yeah, it's wow, just sadly failing here towards the end. At least Yeon getting the sprint and mountain jersey for now. Let's see if we can keep those 2 in this next race. Again, another flat race, hoping to actually get a good result here with Kim Hyun-suk this time. But yeah, he'll need to not be stuck behind riders and get blocked by our own teammates. I think that would be pretty great to not happen.
Today's terrain is fairly level, so it's ideal ground for those who are good on the flat. The race will take place in beautiful sunny conditions.
Again, sunny conditions for us today. Yeon here in his beautiful green jersey. I do like that green jersey. I think it is very, very nice, to be fair. And we jump away with the North Macedonian rider once again. Or sorry, the Macedonian rider. My apologies. once again, to make sure that he is covered basically by us, to try and maybe win away that mountain jersey that he is currently wearing. We are basically riders that don't get along very well, and I got distracted here just before the sprint point, which he wins, of course. Yon getting second, so at least he gets a couple of bonus seconds and a couple of bonus points. But yeah, not where we want. Let's see again if we can snoop away some of these mountain points here. 1 kilometer to go before the mountain. I decide to do an attack slash sprint here up this mountain. The other rider decides the same. Is it me or him? Is it me or him? I don't know. I have no idea who won that. That's very close. That was a very good job. Oh, Yon wins. Yay, good job, Yon. That was very, very close. Good job by Yon there. Getting some of the points away from him. So, fantastic job.
The group has been overhauled.
On to the second mountain point here. Yon pushing away here from the peloton. We did get caught up. Obviously, our teamwork wasn't super great because we were 2 riders that are basically being contesting toward each other. And he gets across the line here quite easily, not doing too much effort. Gets across the line here, gaining an additional couple of mountain points. Now 9 mountain points here, 3 or 5 points actually ahead of the number 2, the Macedonian rider. So yeah, at least we have the mountain jersey for us, so that's pretty cool. To the sprint points. Woo! Yon sprints here as well. Fantastic sprint here by Yon. Almost get beaten by Lee, which I need to like relax a bit. Yon gets across the line here, 13 sprint points as well. I don't think this will be super important towards the end. We still have a couple of mountain, or we still have the final sprint as well. You see me kind of blaze through here by accident. Lee actually getting across the line here as first for these mountain or for these sprint points, and going towards this second mountain point here, or this third mountain point, the last mountain point. I also kind of skipped through that one because, you know, it doesn't really matter for us as long as Victor doesn't get it. Yon will take the mountain jersey. And at that point, we're already 13 kilometers before the end, so we need to make sure that we start up our sprint train and need to make sure that we are in the mix here for this final fight. Just need to make sure, basically, that our riders are positioned properly. Yo already losing a lot of his energy here, just trying to get to Munshin. And, yeah, basically, I'm not going to put Yo again ahead of Kim Yoon-suk because apparently, you know, he blocks riders, so that's not super great. Yo eventually does make it towards Munshin, and with Munshin we can now push forward and position us properly. The terrain is a bit of an up and down here towards the end, but again, I do feel like our riders should handle that reasonably well. It's a mixture of depths and heights here, so we need to make sure that we just position properly and push on here in these mountainous areas to make sure we get up front. It's kind of difficult to get to the front here with these riders in the descent. So when it goes uphill, that is our moment to basically shine and push forward here. Hong now with a push 4 kilometers from the finish. This is his moment. He is also a okay mountain rider, to be honest. And yeah, basically positioning our riders all the way up to the front. Yon here in the green as well behind Lee. 2 kilometers left to go. Time to sprint with Yon, our best sprinter in Korea. Oh no, Kim gets blocked again by riders. He is doing his best, but he was just too far back. Oh, Kim Yoon-suk getting beaten by number 1 Korean rider, Jiwon Yoon. This is why we signed Yon for next season, because he's just better than Kim Yoon-suk. In the general classification, though, Kim moves up 3 places, so a top 10 for him. Hey, look at that. That's pretty good. And the rest of our riders are around a 20th position. Yon actually moving up to 30, around the 30th position. So good job by him. He also gets the sprint point and mountain jersey. So maybe we don't get a lot of points here or any points here, but at least we'll get some money here for our team. Now on to the points. We ended up here in this episode with a total of 1101 points. Shin getting on the board with his 2nd place in the Tour of Czechland. A fantastic job here by him. Really, really good job actually, getting from a top 50 to a top 10 position, top 5 even. So great job here by Shin. Heo getting 30 points as well in the Kupa Max Ausnit. So 2 great results here in today's episode. You're also seeing some points here of the tour of Poyang Lake. It was a 10-day stage tour where the goal was to get a top 20. It was actually a sponsor objective, but we did absolutely terrible there. There were 2 time trials within that tour that absolutely shafted us. And yeah, I think we got a best position here in 29th in that stage, and it was it was about a 2-hour recording, so I decided to cut that from this episode, because honestly, nothing happened in that episode. It was all quite boring. We got 2 wins from Heyo. That's about it. The rest of the stages were very, very mediocre to watch. So yeah, that's it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and the stages that we've ridden so far. Next episode will be the last episode of the season, episode number 10. It's good that we're ending it on basically on a round number, which it makes me happy. And after that, we'll be riding our new team, which is exciting as well. So yes, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please don't forget to leave a comment, like, and subscribe if you want to. And hope to see you in the next episode. Goodbye.